Can you think of a feud that's more heated than the one involving Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov? Please name one, we'll wait. While you're racking your brain on a beef that has not subsided even after the fight happened, and all was, or at least we thought it was, said and done, we'll give you the details of the turmoil between the notorious and Dagestan's best, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Call him what you like, but Conor McGregor is a solid teammate through and through. He's had people in his corner from the start, and that loyalty has seeped through into him. Similar to him are Nurmagomedov and his crew. They're all essentially of the exact same cloth, they share values, most of them share family, and all of them share the same goal, becoming a world champion. So where did things go wrong between Nurmagomedov and McGregor? Well, the first roadblock was ironically what brings training partners in closer, similar goals. However, when in opposing teams that are nearing the same destination, things are bound to clash. Things originally heated up between the two when the UFC did Khabib Nurmagomedov dirty. In an act to try and push Alvarez and McGregor together, the UFC sent Khabib a contract to fight Alvarez for the lightweight title, only to be pushed off to the side once Conor McGregor and Alvarez was booked. Everyone saw this as a dirty move by the UFC, and even Khabib recognized it here, because they used my name, he said. Nurmagomedov told anyone who would listen exactly how he felt. Things were tense between the two moving forward. A backstage scuffle nearly erupted when the two ran into each other face to face. Conor stared Nurmagomedov down, and the Eagle is not one to be disrespected. Things would be on a slow boil for a while, as the two were always in each other's way, but not quite lined up to fight each other. Moments before McGregor won the ever so elusive champ status by easily handling Eddie Alvarez, Khabib Nurmagomedov put on quite the performance himself after beating the brakes off Michael Johnson. In his post-fight interview, he called for a fight against the Irishman. I want to say something, I want to stay humble, but I have to talk, because you guys talk too much. And you know what's interesting? I understand how crazy powerful the UFC PR machine is. Your guy, the beginning of the year, he tapped like a chicken. End of the year, he fight for the title. Crazy. Hey, you know guys, this is true. This is not trash talking. Hey Irish, only 6 million. Russia, 150 million. I want to fight your chicken because this is #1 easy fight in lightweight division. Now let's get into the slap that really pushed the envelope. Teammate of Conor McGregor and fellow UFC fighter Artem Lobov shares not only his coach with McGregor, but his penchant for speaking his mind. Artem trash-talked Nurmagomedov, who once again doesn't take to being disrespected terribly well. The Eagle and his team confronted Artem Lobov and resulted in Nurmagomedov repeatedly slapping Artem's neck to belittle him. That's when things hit the fan, or should we say, the dolly hit the bus. McGregor and team caught wind of this and mobbed over to New York, where the Irishman and a gaggle of his goons attacked Nurmagomedov on a bus that he was in, along with a bunch of other UFC fighters. For those of you who aren't aware of the hectic lead up to UFC 223, well, that's an entire video in and of itself. The gist of it is, fighters kept falling through, Khabib was willing to fight anyone. Conor attacked the bus, more fights fell through after that. It's a can of worms, but it's well worth diving into. This bus attack resulted in Michael Chiesa being pulled from his fight due to cuts, Ray Borg being pulled due to glass being in his eye, Rose Namajunas being very upset due to the dolly being incredibly close to hitting her, Conor McGregor being arrested, and last but not least, Khabib Nurmagomedov delivering one of the most chilling quotes of all time. "Come here, send me message, like, location." He then added, "Anywhere you want, it doesn't matter, Ireland, New York, Brooklyn, or Moscow, doesn't matter, tell me where." Couple Khabib's chilling gaze with the fact that this man literally wrestles bears as a hobby, and you've got yourself a threat that's as genuine as it is terrifying. Fast forward a bit, and here we are. In the build up to UFC 229, Nurmagomedov versus McGregor. The typical media obligations were expected to be fireworks, and they were, but things were a bit grimmer than the typical media events go. Conor McGregor attacked every little thing about Nurmagomedov. He mentioned family, friends, culture, and religion. Nurmagomedov kept things short and simple. "I come here for smash this guy." On the other hand, Conor let loose in his media obligations. He went on a tirade after tirade. "You said send location, here he is. Right in front of you, I'm right in front of you." A slew of insults flew from the notorious towards Nurmagomedov and everything he loves. What happens when two people don't like each other this much? Well, they fight. Lucky for us fans, they're both good at fighting and made the most out of this rivalry for themselves and the UFC. In fact, this fight took place in 2018, but it is still the best-selling pay-per-view in MMA history. The fans were divided on who would win, but most were in agreement on one thing, and that was that it wouldn't be close. Either Khabib was gonna maul Conor like he has everyone else, or McGregor's left hand would prove true and turn the Dagestani's lights out. However, we got to see some new wrinkles in both fighters' games. McGregor showed some excellent takedown defense right off the bat and even stuffed a few as the fight went on. Nurmagomedov was able to stand with Conor and even scored a knockdown. Though these two fighters brought out their best in each other, the disrespect was too much for Nurmagomedov to not acknowledge during the fight, let alone sweep under the rug after all was said and done. Thus, Nurmagomedov slapped Conor. That wasn't the only disrespect shown. While mauling McGregor, the Eagle wanted McGregor to talk his trash then and there, or to keep the same energy that he had throughout his media obligations. Let's talk now. To which McGregor responded with, "It's only business." Unfortunately, that wasn't the last of the disrespect and ire shown. A neck crank from the Russian forced Conor to tap in the 4th round. Not satisfied, Nurmagomedov turned to Conor's teammate, Dillon Danis, who also had a few unkind things to say about Khabib earlier on. The Eagle scaled a fence, took flight, and stomped on Danis. A brawl broke out outside the cage, then a fight broke out inside of the cage as McGregor got into it with Nurmagomedov's teammates. Absolute pandemonium. For the best-selling UFC event in history, the very end left a smudge on the UFC and the sport as a whole. However, this was a fight that was built and promoted from controversial acts, so it's only fitting that it ended the way it did. The two have made up since then and are now friends. Kidding, they still bicker with one another on social media. McGregor can't let this loss go and still rips Khabib on Twitter, perhaps going too far too often, and Nurmagomedov argues with his teammates when they mention McGregor.